The son of Italian immigrants, Louis Zamperini was born in 1917. Soon after, his family moved from New York to Torrance, California. There, Louis was a tough young man living a lifestyle full of trouble. In 1934, Louis broke the world interscholastic record in the mile. His time of 4 minutes 21 seconds stood for 2 decades. 2 years later, the Torrance Tornado was off to Berlin, Germany as a member of the 1936 U.S. Olympic team. In the 5,000-meter final, Louis finished 8th but ran the last quarter mile in just 56 seconds. So fast that Adolf Hitler himself insisted on meeting the young American.
I went over to see him, and he just reached down and shook my hand, kind of flimsy-like, and just said, the boy with the fast finish.
Louis went on to become a track star at USC in hopes of another shot at Olympic gold in 1940. But the Games were canceled due to the war in the Pacific, and Louis joined the military.
I ended up in the Army Air Corps and in the Pacific, operating out of Kahuku Field in Hawaii.
Over the next 2 years, he earned the nickname Lucky Louie for cheating death as a bombardier. But on May 27, 1943, his luck quickly changed when a seemingly routine search and rescue mission turned deadly. 800 feet above the Pacific Ocean, the Green Hornet's 2 left engines cut out, and the plane and its crew crashed into the ocean.
Well, I've got to say that is the highest emotion of the human experience is going down in a plane knowing you're going to die. But out of 11 men aboard the plane, 3 of us survived. And it seemed like forever getting to the surface. And on the way up, I'm swallowing oil, gasoline, blood. When I got to the surface, I just threw up everything, and I saw the pilot and tail gunner hollering help. Then I saw a life raft drifting away from the wreckage area, which was vital for our survival.
Louis reached the raft and picked up the other survivors, tail gunner Francis McNamara and pilot Russell Phillips. On their 33rd day at sea, McNamara died. For 2 more weeks, Zamperini and Phillips drifted. Suddenly, they saw land, but their raft was soon spotted by the Japanese, and after drifting 2,000 miles over 47 days, the men were finally rescued by the enemy. Zamperini and Phillips were taken to the island of Wotji, and 2 days later transferred to a spot known as Execution Island. The men were forced to crawl to their prison cells. Guards tormented them with stories about previous U.S. Marine captives.
He said, well, they've all been executed by decapitation, samurai style. And he said, that's what they do to all prisoners that come here. The worst part, I think, about being in the cell was submarines. A submarine came in, of course, they never see prisoners. So they can't wait till they line up in front of your cell, 75, 80 men lined up like going to a movie premiere. And every one of them is either swearing at you, throwing rocks at you, jabbing you with sticks, spitting on you.
Louis made it off Execution Island alive. After 43 days of captivity, he was sent to a POW camp in Japan. There he faced Matsuhiro Watanabe, known as the Bird, for his relentless methods of torture. Late in 1944, the Japanese transmitted a radio broadcast proving Louis was alive. Then his captors tried to force Louis to read Japanese propaganda in a second broadcast.
I said, there's no way I can read this. Because of that, I'm sent to a slave labor camp.
For his insubordination, Louis was sent to a new camp where he was once again subjected to severe torture at the hands of the Bird. After enduring months of brutal treatment, finally, in September of 1945, Louis Zamperini was liberated when the war came to an end.
Peace has come. Americans celebrate as Americans have never celebrated before.
He arrived back home in the United States 1 month later.
Now I got married, I have a little girl, and I'm still suffering nightmares, waking up screaming, strangling the Bird. And one night I accidentally strangled my wife in my dreams, and she got scared.
Louis battled nightmares, recalling the days of torture at the POW camps. In 1949, he reached a breaking point. Knowing he needed to be free of his demons, he knew there was only one thing to do.
I knew it. I also knew that I forgave all of my guards, including the Bird. I knew it. I haven't had a nightmare since. 1949 till now. That is some kind of a miracle.
In 1950, he traveled back to Japan to personally forgive, face to face, the prison guards who tortured him. While he was unable to meet with the Bird, he spoke with many of his former captors. The exchange of forgiveness and apologies brought true healing for Zamperini and for his former tormentors. In 1998, Louis again returned to Japan to carry the Olympic torch before the Winter Games in Nagano. It was a statement to the world about one man's willingness to forgive even the most painful atrocities. For Louis, he was simply living out a commitment to what he knew was the right thing to do.